Law firm and does not attempt to solve your individual legal problems upon the basis of information contained herein. Instead, contact an attorney to discuss the specific facts and circumstances of your unique situation. The views and opinions of this program do not reflect the views of the Salem Media Group.
Be seated.
It's time for Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt. Todd Marquardt, attorney at law in Texas. If you're a millionaire or a thousandaire, Talk Law Radio is now on the air. Call in with your business law question, your elder law question, veteran aid, Medicaid, build a business to get paid. 210-308-8867. Or ask a question online at marquardtlawfirm.com. That's MARQUARDT lawfirm.com. And now it's Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, on the radio, on podcasts everywhere, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. Today we're going to be talking with Adam Turcotte, who's a local gunsmith. His business is called 10X Arms. And we're also going to be talking with one of Financial Planning HQ's longtime clients. Usually we have Steve, Jacob, or Joseph on the show giving our financial focus, but today we're going to interview one of their clients so that you can really learn and understand what it's like to work with Financial Planning HQ. Mark, well, we'll have him on when you're ready. Chris, you're live on Talk Law Radio. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining the show. This is the show where we help you discover your legal issue blind spots by listening to me talk about the law on the radio. But Steve, Jacob, and Joseph give us the financial focus segment. And so today we'd like to talk to you about what it's like to work with them. Are you ready for that?
Certainly.
Okay. So what made you seek out financial planning in the first place years ago when you first started working with them?
Well, I was coming up on retirement from the company that I had worked for. And I talked to my oldest brother, who has a couple of degrees in finance, and he says, well, the first thing you want to do before you look for a money manager is you're going to want to look for a fiduciary, because they're the person that keeps everybody honest. And then once you are in hands of a fiduciary, you can go ahead and talk about your money manager and how to plan for your retirement cash flow.
Okay. And how was it that you met Steve and Financial Planning HQ?
Well, I had a life insurance policy with MetLife. And so I looked up MetLife, and they carried Steve as a fiduciary. So I gave him a call, and that's where it started. That was back in 2010.
Okay. And so how would you describe your experience working with Steve?
I think I entered his office, and I kind of caught him in the middle of a transition, and he told me that he was getting ready to start his own business as his own man. And he told me that. He said he wanted to be upfront with me in case I decided that I wanted to look elsewhere. And I said, no, I'd like to listen to what you have to tell me. And we talked for quite a while. And that's where I came on board. And we started discussing my assets, and he set me down and told me what the plan of action would be, and it's worked out.
Great. And how is that different from your experience working with Joseph now?
Well, I think, just to be honest, when he told me he was going to transfer me to a partner, I was a little bit surprised at Joseph. I think I was Joseph's first client, and I was, over the course of the years, been very pleasantly surprised and welcoming of his suggestions and guidance. So everything with Joseph has been well, but I hope that doesn't change after this phone interview.
That's great. Tell us about moments that mattered, financial decisions that you're glad that you made.
Well, with my portfolio that I had from the company I retired from, I retired from Rolls-Royce, and if they did not actually have a retirement program. I had built up for my future through a 401k program. And so I told them that I wanted to transfer it with the minimum disruption. And we talked about the pre-tax and the post-tax. And so I tried to keep the money under investment and only withdrew from it when I had to. And we finally did get that set up on a scheduled withdrawal. And then later on, after I was with Joseph, I had an account from my parents, which was a transfer upon death. So that's, I'll just tell you, that's a hard way to receive money. But they, as a fiduciary, were very honest with me, and they monitored the money managers that we had, and they did, at one time, they changed the money manager because they said they thought they found another money manager that could do better, and it's worked out well. It's been very much better than what you could ever get from a regular interest account.
Yeah, that's sounds like a good experience. Was there any advice that they gave you that saved you time, stress, or money in a way that you didn't expect?
Well, in a way, because I also had suggestions from my older brother, who said, you might think that they're asking for too much money as a consultant fee. But my brother, who, even though he knows a lot about the financial world, he has a fiduciary too, and he said, it really lets you sleep at night because you know you have someone who's watching your assets, because that is their most important jobs, is their essentially, I guess you'd call it guardian angel on your finances.
Mm-hmm.
Because they find the money managers and they find the investments, and it makes you sleep better at night.
Yeah, we all want that.
Well, yeah. Well,
what did you think financial planning was like before you started working with them?
Well, I really didn't have any formal courses in buying stocks or buying investments. It was usually, I was going to transfer my 401 into an IRA, and that was one of the things that Steve helped me with. And they also helped me protect my investment for my beneficiaries by getting me some really good insurance. And I was surprised that if you have someone that knows what they're doing and is looking for the right product, how they can save you an awful lot of money. And that happened on the 2 life insurance policies that I found through them. One was through Steve, and the other one was through Joseph after he took the account. So
Okay.
I'm still happy with them.
Good. And so when you think about them being in different generations, Steve, the baby boomer, and Joseph, the millennial, what's the difference between the 2 styles?
Well, when I first met Steve, he seemed to be well versed and very comfortable with the subject of, fiduciary, being my fiduciary and talking about investments. And Joseph was, I think, brand new in his. I'm getting feedback.
Yeah, our segment's coming to an end, so I'll thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure. You have a good weekend.
Well, thank you, Todd.
Bye. Okay, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Are you confident about your financial future? What if you had a clear financial roadmap and a team holding you accountable to make the best financial decisions no matter what? At Financial Planning HQ, Steve and his sons, Joseph and Jacob, have been helping San Antonio families since 1987 with inspiring, intelligent financial strategies. Whether it's achieving or maintaining financial independence, becoming more tax efficient, or building business wealth, we create a comprehensive, written lifetime financial strategy that's uniquely yours, based entirely on what's important to you. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Call Financial Planning HQ today at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. And take the first step towards financial clarity. That's Financial Planning HQ, inspiring financial strategies for San Antonio. Remember, 210-685-2722. Losing a loved one is hard. I'm Todd Marquardt, and I help families like yours navigate probate with clarity and compassion. Don't go through it alone. Call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Or visit marquardtlawfirm.com to get answers and peace of mind. Do it before you die.
9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. This is Adam Turcotte. He's with 10X Arms, and we're going to be talking about firearm law today. I just want to let you know, Adam, we are on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word in San Antonio. Also KNTH 1070 in Houston, or 103.3 FM in Houston. Isn't that exciting?
All right. Good area.
So, Adam, you've been on the show before, but just in case we have some new listeners, tell us about your background and how you got interested in firearms.
Oh, well, thanks for having me again. It's been a while. I was in the military for 8 years, did a couple of combat tours and whatnot, and after that, worked here at one of the local gun stores and really enjoyed the firearms industry and a lot of the people I met there. But while I was working there, I noticed the demand for gunsmiths. There's a high demand. It's definitely a field that's shrinking and needs people. So I went to the Colorado School of Trades and got my degree through them and came back to San Antonio. And now here we are, 10 years in the industry and busy as ever. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Tell us more about the Colorado School of Trades. What drew you to them?
I knew one of my sergeants that I had in the Army. He ended up becoming the president of the school. And so through connections, talked to him, and he was like, hey, you probably should check this out. You might be pretty good at it. And so I went and checked it out. It was great. I like their working with people, face to face and having kind of the mentor looking over your shoulder, making sure you're doing it right. I like that mentality of it. They give you a good foundation, like all things. It depends on what you do with it, how much you want to continue your education beyond that and learn from other places, other things. But it gave me a good foundation to be able to have the confidence to kind of step out on my own and come back and serve San Antonio.
Some of the techniques that you learned are unique to them? They teach you the old school ways,
The old
don't
school
they?
way. Yes, it's if you could take some of the foundational knowledge of the old school and then utilize modern tooling and techniques, it gives you a better understanding from the ground up, you know.
And so tell us what are you talking about with the old school way of doing things? Walk us through a project.
The old school could be, you know, you're working with files and you're, you know, taking small measurements and, you know, little bits at a time. Whereas if you turn around now and we have CNC machining, and you can get, like if I'm chambering a barrel, you know, there's the old school way of chambering a barrel, and then there's some of the newer techniques when it comes to the precision rifle world that, hey, you need to have these kind of toolings to be able to achieve tighter tolerances. So that's where you're taking the old school foundation, but improving upon that for better results today. Because with the CNC world now, I mean, if you're not getting sub MOA rifles, then something's really wrong, you know. Whereas that used to be the, you know, something to really, that was a big deal. Hey, I have a sub MOA rifle. That's great. Nowadays, if you don't have that, then okay, something's going on. Somebody didn't do their job right. You know, something was engaged properly. So, yeah, it's now is the expectation. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you went to school, now you've been doing gunsmithing. What do you do for fun?
I like to get out and hunt and shoot, you know, to take my daughter. I've been getting her into the rifle game more, and she's been getting out there in the field with me a little bit. That's been a good, enjoyable time, be able to see her kind of mature in that area and enjoy it with me, you know. She's a good shot. She's done very well for herself.
Yeah, and she's a good shot.
Oh yeah. She one of the things about this industry and what I do is you get to meet a lot of good people, you know. So I'll be invited out to ranches and whatnot of some of my good clients, and now that she's grown up enough, I'm able to take her with me, and they like to drive around, and that's a great one right there, you know. So she loves it. It's great.
Yeah, I hunted with my daughter a couple of times. At first, she just had to come because, you know, there was nobody at home to watch her.
Yeah.
And so eventually she became interested enough to want to get a whitetail, and she did. She has one shoulder mounted on the wall. She likes to hang her necklaces on its antlers.
Oh, there you go. That's good. Yeah. Special touch. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we recently, last year for hunting season, we put together a custom build 7mm 08 and so she got to be a part of that. And you know, selected the stock that fit her because she's tiny, you know, but made it where it fit her to her size, and she picked out the color and everything, chambered the rifle and everything for her, and so that's her special, unique tool that she's able to take out there and have fun with. Yeah.
And when she first started shooting, was she bothered by the recoil?
Not so much, because I started her on, you know, 22 bolt action and graduated up. You know, she shot some of my larger rifles, but they all have silencers on them, so the recoil is never something that's been that big of an issue for her, you know.
Okay, well, tell us about the physics of why that is. How is it that a suppressor reduces the pain of the recoil?
Well, it could take around, they estimate around 40% of the recoil is absorbed by a silencer, because you're not having all that gas, you know, go out the front and push back against you. It's helping absorb a lot of that. And so that's part of why silencers are so popular in Texas and in hunting and in the precision rifle world is, yeah, I mean, the recoil, you're able to get back on your target a lot faster, you know, and hearing. Yes, we all like to hear beyond age 30, so that definitely helps in that.
Yeah. Okay, well, so that's an advantage of a suppressor, and we definitely want to talk about the law regarding the suppressor. We're here on Talk Law Radio talking with Adam Turcotte. He's a gunsmith with 10X Arms, and we're talking about suppressors now because in the beginning, God had one law: don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the Ten Commandments. And now we have municipal, state, and federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws that impact you without you knowing it. So tune in to Talk Law Radio on Saturday mornings, Sunday afternoons, and you can find us on YouTube anytime when you're walking the dog, washing the dishes, or working in the garage. Okay, so there's been a change with the regulations of suppressors recently. There used to be a $200 tax that you had to pay when you were filing an application to purchase a suppressor, and now it's a zero tax.
Right.
And so, how has that affected your work?
I do a lot of barrel threading because, yeah, they removed the barrier of the $200 tax. The silencer demand has definitely gone up. And the industry, I mean, you're seeing a lot of 3D printed suppressors. That's definitely changed the game to where they're able to do some tech, builds that are definitely not as simple as the old cup baffle style. Now they're able to do a lot with moving gases. And because of that, yeah, like I said, barrel threading, I do a lot of it.
So you said a 3D printed
3D
suppressor?
printing, yes. They could 3D print Inconel and titanium and everything, and they're able
Oh,
to.
with metal?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it's basically like a laser welding of metal dust, and they're able to build up a silencer with cavities that just they were not able to do before by your standard manufacturing. So because of that, it's just another thing where things run better. It's bringing down the cost on some stuff, but not having the $200 tax stamp has definitely helped in the demand for silencers. So you're having a lot more manufacturers pop up and trying to meet that demand.
Have you seen one of those laser machines that can
Oh, yeah.
weld metal together?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty impressive. There's some videos on YouTube where you can see the technique of it, and it's pretty cool. It's the future. It's like the old school cans. I mean, yes, they'll still be around, but they're going to get cheaper and cheaper as things transition more to the 3D printed side of things.
Yeah, how much would one of those cost?
I mean, you could see off the top of my head, you'd probably be in the $850 range to, I mean, you could be in the $1,500 easily.
Oh, for the suppressor.
For the silencer
I was
itself,
talking
yeah.
about the machine.
Oh, the machine? Oh, no, they're in the 50 to 100 plus easily. Yeah. Depending on how big and how much you want it to be able to make. I mean, because you can make one at a time, or you can make a plate and it'll have, 5 on it, if not more.
And so what's the rule on the manufacturer of a suppressor? Does it have its own serial number?
Yes, everything has their own serial number. You have to submit all your paperwork ahead of time, and once it's approved, then you're able to make your stuff. It's there's a lot of regulations behind it, of course. Like all things, the stack of rules and laws just goes up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's manufacturers that are stepping up and they're keeping up with everything.
And so if somebody's interested in getting a suppressor, where do they start? Do they contact a federal firearm licensee?
Yes, those that have an SOT, a special occupancy tax with Class 3, be able to do Class 3 transactions, which I am, just because I deal with silencers and threading and everything else so much. It's like, it's good to have that ability. But yeah, that's it. Talk to somebody like me that knows that world, can kind of get the process going and walk you through the paperwork and the fingerprints and the passport photo and whether you want it to be in a trust or individual. After they got rid of the $200 tax stamp, that kind of opened the floodgates a little bit for people to get into. They've changed the way that they do the approvals now. They've definitely streamlined that, where gone are the 9 months wait. Now we're more like 25 days. Individuals 6 days. It's the process has sped up and become much easier.
Wow, that's great. We got to take another break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the sinners and the saints. And again, this is Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Adam Turcotte with 10X Arms, talking about firearms law. If you have a question, post it on Facebook right now. Maybe we'll be able to get to your question. Or call the show, 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. We'll be right back.
Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt is sponsored by the Marquardt Law Firm and does not attempt to solve your individual legal problems upon the basis of information contained herein. Instead, contact an attorney to discuss the specific facts and circumstances of your unique situation. The views and opinions of this program do not reflect the views of the Salem Media Group.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Adam Turcotte with 10X Arms. We're talking about firearm law. Last segment, we were talking about suppressors. And so if you missed that segment, find it on podcasts after the show today. Next week, we'll drop the YouTube video so that you can watch it then. This is the Sinners and the Saints segment. I like the organ music because I I don't know about you, but I like to attend the traditional services.
Yes.
You do too?
Yeah.
And so you like the organ?
Yeah, it's a good callback. It puts you in a good overall setting of this is a reverent place.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that too. There's not a whole lot of gunsmiths. There's not a whole lot of organists anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we need to somehow encourage our kids to rock out on the organ.
Party on, Garth. Yeah.
Right. So in the Sinners and Saints segment today, I want to talk about Aoudad sheep
Okay.
because there was a news article in the Texas Tribune about Texas legalizing shooting Aoudad from a helicopter.
Yeah, their population numbers are pretty crazy right now. So.
And
I
I've
see
heard
why.
that they're such big animals, they require lots of food to eat. And so they can disrupt the natural deer and other animals' vegetation. Have you heard that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely in competition with the bighorn and all in that area out there with the mule deer.
Uh-huh.
I get a lot of clients have land out in that area, and so I'm building rifles focused on being able to take down an aoudad at longer ranges and whatnot. So like, rounds like the 7 PRC right now are pretty hot and fit very well in that avenue of taking something out.
What is it about the PRC that makes it a better round for
It's
that?
it's kind of the modernized version of the 7 Remington Magnum, but it's getting away from the belted magnums, and so instead of, I know technical speak, instead of everything being on the belt of the cartridge, now I'm actually chambering, and it's based on the entire casing and shoulder, and so between that, we're able to make things more accurate, and then also the bullets, we're getting into better technology on the bullets, and they're better at cutting the wind, and so you're getting these longer style bullets that just cut through the wind better and have a lot more energy on target. And so when it comes to something that has the thick skin like an aoudad, the 7 PRC does pretty well.
And so what's the range on that?
I mean, you can take it out 1,000 yards, no sweat. If you have the right rifle and the competence behind
The
it
right
as well.
scope.
Yes, the Indian behind the arrow has to be pretty smart too. So
Right.
yeah.
To be able to see that far, that would
Yes.
be a challenge. A few years ago, my son Thomas went out to western New Mexico, northwestern, and we were hunting elk. And of course, you worked on his
I remember that.
his 7 mag, and he made a 300-yard shot, and we were so happy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that round's very capable. It's been around for a long time for a reason. But you are seeing things, where things are improving, and so you're able to get a little bit more performance out of some of the newer stuff.
Yeah. And so the Aoudad is not native
Right.
to Texas. And so it doesn't have a season.
Mhm.
You can hunt them year round, and now you can hunt them from helicopters. I don't know what the regulation is that would say what you can and what you can't hunt from a helicopter. We know that lots of people have been hunting wild hogs from helicopters for a long time.
Oh yeah, that's fun. You ever get the chance, take it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd like to do that someday. The cost of going up in a helicopter is sort of high.
Yeah, there's a lot that comes behind it. I mean, with the helicopter pilot being experienced and all the liability involved and all that. But if you have a good pilot and a lot of ammo with you,
Yeah.
you can have a good time. Yeah.
So let's talk about the need for a lot of ammo. There's a new product. It's new to me anyway. The new type of trigger.
Oh, the forced reset trigger.
Forced reset trigger, FRT,
Mm-hmm.
and it simulates rapid fire.
Right.
But I'm told that if you slow down the video of somebody pulling an FRT, it's actually one pull, one bullet,
Yes,
right?
exactly. It is forcing the reset of the trigger each and every time. So, yes, your one pull is firing one round. It just makes it easier to fire the next round.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Rapidly.
Yes.
And so some people say, well, that's a machine gun. Tell us why it's not.
Because because every pull of the trigger gives one round, and that pretty much now you are semi-auto. Even if you're making it easier to fire faster, that is not the definition of a machine gun.
And when you were in the Army, did you have the opportunity of shooting a real machine gun?
Yes, we had belt feds, your 240 Bravo and your saws, and they're fun. They have their place, but in actual like a firefight, you're with your M4, you're not really firing full auto because you go through ammo too fast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's semi-auto. You're able to definitely control your shots better and make every shot count. Same thing with hunting. We don't want to take a belt fed hunting.
Right.
So.
That wouldn't be ethical.
No, yeah, it'd be a waste of animal and ammunition. So.
Right, you don't want to tear up the meat because you
Right.
want to be eating that later.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do people get the FRT? And is that something that a gunsmith would help somebody with?
So, current moment, they are legal. You can, get online and buy as many as you like, but I mean, all that can change, with the next presidential change,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of uncertainty around that. Me as a gunsmith, I don't work on them for people because of that gray area. Some people, like if you have one and you're having issues with something, I'm fine turning around and help diagnose, hey, what's going on here and see what we can fix and make things run right. But I'm not gonna, buy it for you and sell it to you type thing. Just because of that gray area of things can change in the future and you never know.
Do you know of anybody else that does? Gunsmiths or firearm dealers that will install that? Have you heard of?
No, not too many. I'm sure there's plenty of cousins and uncles that are happy to do that for them, but it's just kind of like with the pistol braces and everything else. It creates this gray area of uncertainty where it's, all right, how much do we really want to dig into this and invest in this just to have kind of like the 80% receivers, just to have the ATF turn around and go, okay, now this is illegal. So you just have to be careful long-term thinking in that regards.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about firearm law today with Adam Turcotte with 10X Arms, and you're listening to Talk Law Radio. If you're in Houston or San Antonio, give us a call at the station. Today is April 25th, 2026. You can ask a question, 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. So in the last couple of minutes, I just want to go over some other uncertainty that we can address in our last segment. You mentioned the pistol brace that was classified as a short-barreled rifle under the President Biden administration. So we'll be talking about that, and we want to talk about suppressors, the triggers, and also what's been defined as a high-capacity magazine. I'm using air quotes there.
Magazine, yes.
Normal magazines or lower capacity magazines. The magazine is the thing that holds all of the bullets in it. And if you're using a semi-automatic rifle or pistol, it sort of feeds itself, right?
Yes.
Is that how you would describe that?
Design that's been around for over 100 years. I mean, it's an old design of the idea of a magazine and the semi-auto rifle. So when it gets kind of a black eye in today's media, I don't get that one because, yeah, we're talking about old tech.
Uh-huh. Well, it's because of the sinners out there, bad people, evil people that want to kill other people. Um, they'll do that with a firearm or they'll do that with a knife. I mean, we hear of news reports over across the pond in England and other places where there's mass knifing attacks. So and if you ask me, I think the most dangerous tool that we have in society is the automobile.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just have to be 18 years old and they'll give you a driver's license. Well, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned for Talk Law Radio. Are you 100% confident that no matter what happens in the financial markets, economy, or world events, you will achieve your financial goals? If not, we have a process to get your financial house in perfect order and keep it that way forever. Your financial future shouldn't be a guessing game. Planning, advice, organization, and accountability are deliverables you should expect. For over 35 years, Financial Planning HQ has been San Antonio's trusted partner for comprehensive written lifetime financial strategies. Steve and his team, including sons Joseph and Jacob, don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, they create a personalized financial roadmap for you based on what's important to you. As an independent registered investment advisor, they're not tied to any big corporation's products. They work for you, creating inspiring, intelligent financial strategies that put your interests first. Call Financial Planning HQ at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. Losing a loved one is hard. I'm Todd Marquardt, and I help families like yours navigate probate with clarity and compassion. Don't go through it alone. Call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Or visit marquardtlawfirm.com to get answers and peace of mind. Do it before you die.
9:30 a.m.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Adam Turcotte with 10X Arms. We're talking about firearm law, and this is the fourth segment, so it's our legacy segment.
And now, it's time for the Talk Law Radio Legacy Spotlight. What's your legacy? Sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm.
Adam, attorneys at Marquardt Law Firm focus on business and estate law, including last wills, living trusts, and tax-protected inheritance plans. It's all about legacy. So I wanted to ask you about your legacy. I know that you have a daughter, so that our children are a natural legacy that hopefully we leave behind. What do you hope and wish for her future? What kind of impact do you want her to say that her dad had on her?
I want her to have the confidence in herself and be able to tackle all the struggles that life's going to throw at her and know that she's able to do it, but at the same time, know that I'm there to fall back on if need be.
Mm-hmm.
That's where like taking her to the range and having her be comfortable defending herself if need be. She's growing into that very well.
Cool. Yeah. Do you hope that she follows into your footsteps as a member of the Army?
I don't know. I mean, I could see that being an avenue possibly, but I will definitely try to steer her towards something where, all right, if you're going to join the military, find something that you can have a career at, and be able to continue outside of the military if you choose to, whereas for me, it was a little tough to be like, I can walk a long ways and carry a lot of weight and shoot a rifle. Great. Find a civilian world for that.
Right.
That's a little tough. Yeah.
And how about following in your footsteps and taking over your business?
I could see her possibly going down that avenue. I mean, I try to get her out there into the shop with me and tinker around a little bit. She's in that teenage phase of not wanting to do a lot of that, but I could see her having a place in my shop in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even if it's not her full-time job.
right.
Yeah.
That is one thing the firearm industry towards women is. I mean, it's a growing demographic. Big time. A lot of them are getting into it. They make great shooters, whether it's in the shotgun world or in the precision rifle world. You're seeing a lot of women involved with it. It's nice to see.
Yeah, that's great. So that's the legacy segment. Now let's get back to talking about firearm law. Last segment, we reached the issue of large capacity magazines, and California had a regulation. In 2016, California legislature enacted Senate Bill 1446, which banned the possession of large capacity magazines and imposed a fine if you failed to comply. Then California voters approved Proposition 63, which added a provision that imposed a possible criminal penalty for unlawful possession. What do they mean by large capacity magazines? Do you know?
It's when most states define it as like when they can hold 11 rounds or more. So a 10-round magazine is okay in those states. But the amount of magazines, I mean, the millions of magazines that are out there, I mean, 10 round and below, that's definitely the minority, So anything above that, I mean, I would consider that normal capacity. That's your standard, like for the AR-15, I mean, a 30-round magazine is the standard. So for the people that are stuck in California dealing with 10-round magazines, I mean, I feel for you there, but yeah, you guys are definitely the minority.
Yeah. Well, if someone were to argue that you don't need a 30-round magazine, how would you respond?
I think that's part of being as part of the United States and the right to bear arms, and I can defend myself however I decide I need to, and if I feel that I need 30 rounds, in a magazine, and I'm going to carry, however many magazines I want,
Right.
that's on me. That's not up to some big government daddy to decide for me.
You don't have to have a reason.
Right.
Right. It's your constitutional right. And so if this case goes up to the Supreme Court, they're going to analyze it based on historical use. And I think that you just said that it's been around for a long time, and a lot of the population has them now. And I think that's part of their analysis as well.
Right. And that's where my question would be, like, where does the common use argument come in? I mean, if you have 10 million of these magazines out there, I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to get those back, on the national level. I mean, we're not talking about 10,000. We're talking about in the millions of them being out there. And that's one of those, like I tell people all the time, I'm like, even if you feel you don't need it, hey, things can change politically. Go ahead. Yeah, stock up on magazines, stock up on ammo. I mean, it says to the legal world, I mean, how, good luck fighting this. There's so many of them out there, but also, yeah, you never know what's going to change, and things wear out. You have to replace them. So it's better to have it than not.
Right. There's springs in there that can go bad. We talked about the $0 tax, but we didn't for suppressors for those regulated NFA items. But we didn't talk about the theory that if there's no tax, then the registration requirement should be unconstitutional.
Yeah, where's your authority to regulate that if there's not a tax dollar involved? Yes.
That was their basis for justifying the registration, was that it was associated with the tax.
And so if that's gone now, same thing with short barrel rifles. It's like, okay, if I have to file paperwork, but there's no transaction involved money wise, then what do you have to do with this?
Yeah, so I'm anxious to see what the Supreme Court would do about that, because those regulations are 50 years old.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just a matter of time before we get a case before the court kind of tackling that issue.
Okay. So the 0% tax, I want to talk about the 3D printed guns, the 80% receiver.
Right now, you're not seeing as much of a demand for that. I think a lot of that, when you do have a different party in office, there seems to be a little bit more freak out about some things like that of, hey, don't take this away from me type thing. Whereas right now, and that's where you kind of see the industry, the Trump slump of sales and focus on 80% receivers and all. I mean, it is right now as it stands. It's legal. You can make them yourself. That's fine. If you have the knowledge and the ability to do that. But that can all change, in the next few years pretty quick.
It's kind of scary, to think about putting your own firearm together. I would imagine it could be dangerous.
Yes, there's and that is one of those where the AR-15 kind of got the it's like Legos for men. It's easy to put together, and it's somewhat, but there's definitely a right way and there's a wrong way where it can be dangerous, and have things break on you that could hurt yourself or something else. Yeah.
Does anybody ever just come to you with a grocery sack full of parts and say, I messed this up?
The old school Ruger Mark 1 through 3 pistols were notorious of people having a hard time putting those back together. They've since changed that design, made it easier, but yes, that is one of those that I've had quite a few times. Somebody bring to me in a Ziploc bag of, I don't know how to put this back together. So you just got to hold your mouth the right way. But
so people take those guns apart because they need to be cleaned more thoroughly on the inside. And I mean, I know I've seen movies where the guys in the military are taking their gun apart and cleaning it and put it back together.
Most of the wear, yes, there's people that shoot a lot, and yes, they need to stay on top of cleaning. Most of the time, people go to the range, they put a couple rounds through something. They will wear out the gun more from cleaning than they will from actually shooting.
Okay.
And so that's where, I don't know, I feel like people can definitely go overboard on that one. But when it does come into things like the AR-15, where there's a lot of gas involved and it just builds up in the system for those that shoot decently often, there needs to be a going through thoroughly and cleaning things out so that they operate properly.
And do you do that for people?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. There's cleaning is a big thing where, yes, I'll have somebody, especially towards the end of hunting season, somebody comes in and, hey, here's my 12 rifles, go through and make sure they're ready to go for next season. So,
okay.
Yeah. So it keeps me busy.
Cool. So we're talking with Adam Turcotte. He's a gunsmith and FFL owner of a business called 10X Arms. And we've been talking about firearm law. If you're interested in this, please watch the other segments on YouTube. Go to YouTube and click the magnifying glass and type in Talk Law Radio. Then look for the Lady Justice with the red, white, and blue logo and click subscribe. Anything you want to tell the viewers and the listeners today? Anything on your soapbox that you definitely want people to know?
Keep up training, buy ammo, get out there, train with it. I mean, you can have the firearm, but if you don't know how to actually operate it, then it's just another paperweight, looking good in the safe. So get out there and use your stuff. When they get dirty, come find me. I'll help you out, So.
Yeah, that reminds me. I like to tell people that you have to exercise your constitutional rights. So buy a firearm, practice with it, and vote. Because if you don't vote, you're not allowed to complain. You heard it here on Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. We'll talk to you later.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.